This is the Wisekrakrbusiness Warframe, and today we're going to take a look at the SARYN. We can no longer spam our ultimate ability. We now have to be tactical. So, what kind of build do we take? And this is the build. We have a lot of duration and a lot of strength, as you can see on the left hand side. We got primed flow and primed continuity. Of course, we have narrow-minded for some extra duration. We have intensify and blind rage for the strength, streamline for a little bit of efficiency, and stretch for a little bit of range, and of course vitality, because we need to keep the SARYN alive. And some extra information is that there are these augments you can equip on your SARYN if you want to, but that is not the topic of today's video. Today's video is about all the new abilities and how they work. The first ability is called Spores, where you inflict enemies with a toxin spore. First we can see the base values, and now after the build. So with this ability you put a toxin spore on your enemy, and it can even pop for even more viral damage, and all damage is per second. And damage of course is affected by power strength, and the duration of the infection is affected by power duration. So an affected enemy is damaged by toxin damage, and all enemies surrounding that bastard will be damaged as well. And as you can see, you can use your mold as a bait mechanism. Put some spores on there, let those bastards gnaw at it, and they will die of toxin and viral damage. And activating Toxic Lash while attacking an enemy with spores on them will do even more damage. These spores are highly infectious, so every enemy that dies next to a guy with a lot of spores on him will get the spores as well. The second ability is called Mold, where the SARYN sheds her skin and leaves a decoy behind. Activating the mold means all status effects will be removed. The SARYN mold will have 400 shield and over 1000 health. And if the mold is not damaged, the mold will stay there for more than 40 seconds. But when the mold gets destroyed, it does a lot of toxin damage, which is affected by power strength. You can only have one mold at a time. You can even put your own spores on the mold so that your enemies will keep on damaging themselves while they are attacking your mold. And using your ultimate ability on the mold will explode the mold, which does damage as well. When Toxic Lash is active, melee strikes burst spores, causing them to spread to nearby enemies. Basically, your melee weapon will become a toxic weapon, and the amount of damage you will produce is affected by power strength and the melee damage of your weapon. When Toxic Lash is active and you hit an enemy with spores, at least one spore will automatically burst and do damage with each melee strike. The ultimate ability is called Miasma, where you effectively disintegrate organic and synthetic matter instantly. When this ability is used, you do corrosive damage per second. So, for 6.5 seconds, you do over 700 damage, which brings the total to almost 4500 damage. Damage is affected by power strength, but also by viral and toxin status effect. And since our first abilities do that damage, this ability must be used after using all your other abilities. If you want to be a boss, that is. So one nice little tactic I produced out of my huge brain is this. You first create a mold. Then you put a lot of spores on that mold. You wait for your enemies to attack the mold. They get infected by all the spores on that mold. Then, you put the Toxin Lash on your melee weapon, go nuts on your mold with the spores. The spores will pop. It will go over all your enemies, and while your enemies slowly dying of toxin and viral damage, you use your ultimate ability to kill them all. And that is the Wisekrakrbusiness tactic, ladies and gentlemen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now that we have a tactic, it is time to fight all the little bastards in this game. First up, the infestation. And after that, the corpus and the grenier will die as well. So let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try it out against some enemy bastards. Let's do this. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, this SARYN is amazing. She always was amazing, but now even more so. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, of course, and comment if you'd like to say hello to me. And I'll see you in the next one. And until then, adios. But as you see in this video, this weapon reloads pretty slow, and that's why you need the fast hands mod. Look at this. It's time for a 360 no scope. Here we go. 360. 360, no scope. Here we go. And again, 360, no scope. And 360, no scope. Bam. We did it. Woo.